Now, I have to make this 100% certain clear. I was the one that extracted the samples from 3 different specimens, and they were sent to Helix Biolabs, and they did the analysis on it, and then they did the database search on it. This is PCR top-end work here. This is not just a swab off the surface. This was drilled into the, well, hold on a second. All right, this is one of them. This is a human lung. It's about our size. And there was a hole drilled in here where the red bloody spot is in the, that's like a fascia flap that holds the lung from flopping all around in your body. And I also had DNA from this hand here. This was a fingertip. And I actually took this, this was amongst the whole hand. I have the whole hand, the palm and everything. It's 3 feet wide. And the muscle attached to the hair follicle right there. That makes your hair stand up on end. This is the sebaceous gland. This is the hair follicle, you know, the shaft. And here's where the vein and artery are on the bottom. And the hair goes around and comes up. Here's the first one, is Hesiod's Theogony. And they're saying that he was a Greek poet. He was in the 8th century BC. So he is one of the really earliest guys. 8th century was early. That's 800 years before Christ. His works included a book titled The Theogony, which is a cosmological work describing the origins and the genealogy of the gods, which are multitudes of gods. The Theogony, translated by Evelyn White. The Hymn to the Muses. Now, here's number 1, the Theogony. It starts off with, from Heliconian, from the Mount Helicon, the Muses, let us begin to sing, who hold a voice praising Zeus, the Aegis holder, and queenly Hera, which was his wife, of Argos, who walks on golden sandals, and the daughter of Zeus, the Aegis holder, bright-eyed Athene. Zeus was supposed to be the top god. He was a womanizer. He screwed everything that he could get his hands on.
As you're reading, I'm trying to match up what little I know about Greek mythology, and so far it's all consistent. And the other thing I'm trying to do is imagine in my mind what's said in Genesis 6, 1 through 3 about giants in the earth in those days.
Yeah, well, let me just make one statement about that, because people get confused about that. They think it said there was giants on the earth in those days. That is not what it says whatsoever. It says there were giants in the earth in those days.
Right.
And then after that, they had, then after that, when they went into the daughters of man, they had giants.
Yes, okay.
So,
right.
yeah, 2 different stories. Plus, before that even, I believe there was the Titans. And they actually, the planets and everything are supposedly creatures.
Yes.
And Zeus, no question whatsoever, in my mind, Zeus is Jupiter and gave birth to Venus. Zeus is the aegis holder, so he's holding the official reins of power. This is basically what Velikovsky was alleging, that out of the red spot came a planet, came a comet, they call it, because it was brilliant. It was lit up the skies. I think it said 10 times brighter than the sun as it approached Earth for 7 days, cooking the Earth, and then bouncing off our atmosphere, creating havoc. Because this is where Venus literally was born, from this red spot on Jupiter. Now, like I said, there's going to be some female body parts in here, so that's just the way life is. All right? All right, I showed you Jupiter. The size of Jupiter. Jupiter is, I think, is 400 times bigger than Earth. And it had, I got to go with a vagina. And it gave birth, just like Velikovsky said, and how it is just basically like a normal vagina. That's just the way they are. And it has the tab at the bottom where the interstitial fluids and the latch is. This, my friends, is what I am now calling the spurlock. Even a vagina has one. And what is a spurlock? A spurlock is where body parts meet together and they lock together. And I believe right through this little tab here is the interstitial highway. And those virtually look like the hairline. Now let me show you anatomically what a vagina looks like. I mean, pretty much everybody sort of has an idea, but let me show you anatomically. Okay, my friends, this is it. That is virtually identical. And that, my friends, right there is what I said locks body parts together. Now, what did we see out on Venus? I mean, on Jupiter. Basically, identical same thing. And that right there is the tab that locks this part into the interstitium, which is the fluid-filled highway. Right there is where the fluid-filled highway is, right here, coming into this to service all the tissues and membranes that are in this area. Jupiter's going this way. Venus rolled out of it going this way. In 2019, this happened. The Great Red Spot, that's what we were just looking at. They were calling them red slabs. Not gases, slabs. And at this point, they were saying, this thing's going to fall apart. They thought it was falling apart, the red. No, it's a bloody scab coming on. Basically, I believe a doctor would say that appears to be a cervix starting to enlarge, and that's what happens before they give birth. Now, you would say, how would it get impregnated? Well, there was a comet that hit, I think it was 1994. Shoemaker-Levy. And I think there was 9 hits of it. And it came out like this. Now, this is 20 years, 25 years later. So, could it be about to give birth again? It could be. Gnostic text. Gnostic was the Greek, basically, knowing, to know things. Now, 56 and 80 tells it all. 56. Jesus said, whoever has come to understand the world has found only a corpse. It's a corpse. Jesus said, he who has recognized the world has found the body. And you have to know the body, all the parts of the body, so you have to be able to recognize the world. And he who has found the body is superior.
Statements of clarification. The body, our human physical essence. All forms of medical diagnosis are based on false, propagandized science to support the business of medicine and violate natural law. People aren't patients. The medical business is a fraudulent, genocidal enterprise that labels people by the effect of the weapons used to destroy them. Disease is a fraudulent term, just as patient is a fraudulent term. Wellness is inherent in the human form. Therefore, the production and distribution of prescription drugs violates natural law. The pharmaceutical business is a genocidal human experimentation enterprise and exists in violation of natural law. Conventional dentistry is a branch of the fraudulent business known as medicine. Psychiatry, psychology, and psychotherapy are branches of the fraudulent business known as medicine and violate natural law. The use of vaccines violates natural law. Down's syndrome, along with all other so-called developmental disorders, are made-up labels by a fraudulent business scheme called medicine. Labeling children as such is exploitative and violates natural law. Promoting, supporting, or encouraging genetic modification of life systems violates natural law. Spreading medical propaganda is harmful and violates natural law. Producing or promoting synthetic vitamins and commercialized processed healthcare products violates natural law. Promoting non-food as food violates natural law.